Hello and welcome back or welcome to the Riley Brakefield Show. I am your host, Riley Brakefield. This is a show where we talk about mostly college sports, a little bit of professional sports, a little bit of news. We love on stuff, we hate on stuff, we rank stuff. We do kind of whatever we want to do here at this show. Don't forget you can like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate you sharing, subscribing, spreading the word with your friends, helping me, blow up and create a platform. And if you are someone that does already listen, but you don't follow me, I have all social medias. I'm constantly posting clips. I'm on Twitter a lot, tweeting here and there, do a TikTok every now and then. Want to get more into that stuff, but hopefully eventually will. But got a pretty good show today. I feel like I'm going to be hitting some news, then one love, one hate. Quite a few good college basketball games coming up Saturday. We're gonna be having college football, the playoff final preview, kind of my thoughts, how I think the game's gonna go, and key factors there. And then just a couple NFL games I'm looking at this weekend that should be important to the playoff picture forming up here in the last week of the season. First off, last time I was talking behind the mic, Damar Hamlin was in critical condition, and I had no idea what was going on. Found out obviously what was going on. Thoughts and prayers to him. Hope everything goes all right. It seems like he's starting to get his functions back. Was able to open his eyes today. Was right, and he asked if the Bills had won. Doctor said yeah. He said yes, he won at life. Kind of cool story there. But it sounds like he's doing all right. And I just saw they did announce that the Bills Bengals game is canceled. They're kind of leaving it. The possible AFC Championship game could be played at a neutral site based off of this information. It's it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But just once again, thoughts and prayers to Damar Hamlin. I was throwing out the idea that Zach Taylor and Sean McDermott should play Madden for the game, and just all the have it like a live stream or something, and all the benefits and proceeds go towards him or towards his foundation or something good like that, just to kind of settle it, but still make a good deal out of it, make something good come out of it. I think it'd be cool. I would love to see that because it's not like it'd be fair for the players to even play a game, in my opinion. But other news as well. I just saw this on Twitter before I got on the mic here. Peyton Hillis, of old Arkansas fame, one of the best running backs I ever saw growing up. He's in critical condition. I guess he had to save his kids from drowning out in the ocean. The kids are okay, but he is apparently in critical condition. Hope that he comes out of it. That's just a sad deal. Once again, just always this crazy shit happens, man. But Peyton Hill is one of my favorite running backs growing up. So hopefully he pulls out of this. Hopefully he's all right as well. Speaking of crazy accidents, well, this earlier wasn't an accident. Old Bobby Petrino, the mastermind himself with the motorcycle, he is now going to be the new offensive coordinator for the Texas A&M Aggies. I think he'll probably produce a couple good offenses. He's done that before, almost beat Arkansas this year with, a FCS school. He's a very good coach. He's just got a lot of baggage, a lot of issues in the past. I think that it should work out for a little bit, possibly. But Jimbo Fisher, I think it's just a sinking ship at this point at Texas A&M. I think they'll continue to put up a couple good seasons here and there, 8-4, 9-3s. And I think Texas A&M will give them time until the 12-team playoff comes around, and then once they don't make that 2-3 years in a row, I think they'll kind of kick his ass out the door and see how that one goes. But interesting hire. I think it might work out. Probably going to fall apart. More than likely, that's just how it is. But in depressing college football news, Sam Hartman has decided to go to Notre Dame. It was true. The rumors were true. I think I hate this the most because I really like Sam Hartman and I don't like Notre Dame. Never really been a Notre Dame fan. That has nothing to do with Brian Kelly. Just never really been a Notre Dame fan. Something about their fans and them as a program just has always bothered me. So I really hate this because Sam Hartman, I think he's probably one of the top 10 quarterbacks coming back next year. He's got a ton of talent. He's a stud. I love Sam Hartman. I think he's going to do well at Notre Dame. It just sucks because this is probably a really good year that Notre Dame could win a national championship with Sam Hartman at quarterback. I mean, they haven't had a good quarterback. I saw somebody tweet this like that. They haven't had a good quarterback since Brady Quinn, and that is the God-honest truth. They haven't had a legit, solid quarterback that actually produced really solid numbers and was one of the top 20, 25 quarterbacks in the country, because you need that in order to win a national championship at the minimum. I mean, Stetson Bennett, I don't think that he's top 5 per se, but I'd say he's a top 15, top 20 guy, and that's how kind of where he was last year. He's good. He makes smart decisions. He makes the right choice. Like I said, makes right decisions, makes smart plays, throws the ball well. Perfect example, So giving that to Notre Dame with the talent that they seem to usually get, they still recruit well, should have a lot of success. Hopefully, Sam Hartman has a really good last year. I just hope they don't win the national championship, because that would be the ultimate demise of my life. I don't want to see that happen whatsoever. Sticking in college news here, Chris Beard officially fired from Texas. He was arrested for felony charges for assault on his fiance, yeah. So he officially was fired. She came back and said the statements weren't true or something like that. Kind of a weird situation. Don't know too much what's going on there, but he's ultimately fired from Texas, and they are now looking for a new head coach. So we'll see what happens there. Other sporting news world, Jake Paul announced on social media that he has joined the PFL. They are an MMA fighting league. He also announced that he sent a 2-fight contract to Nate Diaz. First one would be a boxing match, then second one obviously would be in the PFL and MMA match. So that would be interesting. I don't know if Nate will take it or not. We'll see, but that'd be cool if he did. But it's going to be interesting to see, how Jake Paul fares in the MMA world. He's been fighting a lot of MMA guys that transition to boxing. So it's going to be really interesting if he transfers into the MMA world, how he performs, if, he gets taken down and what happens. It's just exciting. It's finally he can prove to a lot of people, me included, that he's a real fighter and stuff like that, because I never thought it was fair to be fighting MMA guys in a boxing match. So it'll be fun to see what Jake Paul can do. I think he's a good boxer. He really is, but I'm just more interested to see how he translate that into the MMA world. My college basketball gambling this week did not go. It went all right, I guess. It wasn't really that bad. Tuesday was fine. Missed the Texas Tech money line. That one was close with Kansas. Tennessee, they blew out Mississippi State. That one was pretty easy. And, I ended up betting the over on the Texas-Kansas State game, which was a plus because those guys scored a ton of points. Wednesday, UConn disappointed me. TCU surprised me. And really, Arkansas thrilled me. I mean, those really didn't. The UConn one didn't really go my way. TCU, they ended up pulling that one out. Arkansas blew out. Well, they didn't blow out Missouri. There for a while, they kind of had a strong lead, though. So they got the job done, so that was pretty happy with that for the most part. So it wasn't a bad week. I mean, what is that, 4-2 overall? So not a bad week. And I have a couple more picks here soon that'll hopefully get the people going, get the fucking vibes up with some college basketball. Saw a little bit of interesting news here. Apparently, Japanese scientists have developed this hydrogel that is meant to attack cancer cells and turn them back into cancer stem cells. And then ultimately, with quite a few treatments, it would ultimately get rid of the cancer as a whole. So that's cool. It could be a whole development. I'm sure it's going to cost thousands, millions of dollars to get it done, and only the rich elite people will be able to do it for quite some time until it becomes really mainstream, which is probably 10, 20 years down the road. But it's cool. It'll work out, hopefully. Who knows? Also saw that High Noon's hard seltzers, the vodka ones, those things are so good. Probably one of my, I don't really drink a lot, but they're probably one of my favorite drinks these days. They overtook, they're now the number one selling spirit in the United States. They overtook Tito's vodka, so that's quite crazy for them. It's well deserved. They definitely are one of the better drinks out there, in my opinion. Then I saw a couple weird new laws not weird. In Tennessee, there's a new law that if you are a drunk driver and you kill a parent, you will be you'll be forced to pay child support for that kid because you obviously killed the parent. So that's kind of a cool new law. And then in Louisiana, you have to put in a government ID in order to watch porn. So that's kind of a weird situation. If you want to watch porn, then they can kind of see what you're watching. So no one's probably gonna be jerking off a whole lot here in Louisiana unless you're a real horn dog. I couldn't imagine. Putting my fucking no, it just seems I'm not going through all that effort just to watch somebody get cummed on. Right? I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one with that. I had another high thought this week. So the segment that goes around every now and then, high thought of the week. Me and my wife, she's really into true crime, and I enjoy it as well. We were watching kind of news updates on the Idaho murders case, and they were showing the guy's face, and we're just looking at him like, man, he just looks evil. He looks like somebody that could commit this murder. the more I sat there and thought about it, I was like, do we think that he's evil because we think that of something that he possibly did that's a horrible murder? Because then you have all these people coming on social media saying, "Oh yeah, he was so weird back in the day, yada yada yada." But is that just circumstantial because you know he's the main suspect in this? Then I started thinking about like, Casey Anthony. She's a woman. Some people don't think that she's not attractive. They find her attractive, but like when I look at her, I just think that she's like a bitch, a cunt, like literally. Like you can just look at people and you can tell the kind of vibe that they give off. That's the type of vibe that she is off to me. She doesn't look like she's someone that's necessarily evil and will kill their child. But then like you look at people like Ted Bundy, and people back in the day thought he was attractive. People today still think he's attractive, and I look at him and I think that he just looks like some fucking goblin off the street. Like I think he's one of the ugliest people I've ever seen, possibly. Maybe, and is that just because I know what he did, or do I genuinely find him unattractive? It's just this weird part of my brain that I'm like, I wonder, like when you look at someone and you know what they did, does it make you look at them different? Or do you look at people sometimes and think that, I mean, yeah, everyone does. I mean, I'll go out in public and I'll see people. I'm like, I feel like you're the type of person that would kill somebody. I feel like you're the type of person that would try to kidnap me. Like, you know what I mean? So I often wonder that about like serial killers and people that commit these heinous crimes. Like if you look at them beforehand and you're like, oh yeah, I could see that they were evil the whole time. It's just kind of a weird thought. It's just a weird thought. I don't know. Something I thought about yesterday when I was high. So that's that. Now for this week's One Love, One Hate. This week I'm loving on a good cup of coffee in the morning. There's nothing like it. Past couple mornings, I've been trying to get up earlier, trying to change my life. New year, new me shit. Started drinking coffee in the morning. I usually drink a cup in the morning around 10 o'clock. I work from home, so I'm never in too big of a hurry. But we get up a little bit earlier, kind of trying to enjoy my time and feel like I accomplish more throughout the day. So I've been drinking a cup, about 6, 7 in the morning. And there's just something about it, that just a good cup of coffee in the morning. There ain't nothing like it. It's just, I just love it. You just sit there, quiet as can be outside. It seems like, not a whole lot of noise. Fresh start to the day. Just drinking something warm to warm me up. And, I don't drink mine black. I enjoy flavor. I'm not some weird coal miner. I'm just not. So I just loving on a good cup of coffee in the morning. Just nothing like it. Hating this week, sticking in the drink category, hating on seltzer waters. I absolutely hate them. They never have any flavor. I like the carbonation, but every time I drink them, it's like I'm drinking fucking sewer water. And it's not as bad as sewer water because I've had that splash in my mouth before. Long story short, I was just working in a manhole, nothing crazy, nothing disgusting like that. But they're just so flat. It's probably more like lake water. Like it just has a weird taste to it. There's no flavor behind it. You're just like, oh, what the fuck is that? I can't get on board with them. My wife likes them, so I'll squeeze a little bit of those little Mio things or whatever the fuck they're called in them, and that really makes it flavorful. I just can't drink them. I've never enjoyed them because they just never have flavor behind them. Like I said, it feels like I'm drinking lake water. It's disgusting. So I hate seltzer waters. They fucking suck. Point blank period, end of story, in my opinion. Got a pretty loaded college basketball slate this weekend. Found 6 games on Saturday that I'm really confident in, like the gambling advice that I can give, I guess, is probably the best way to say it. Right now, I am currently watching this Indiana-Iowa game. I did take the over, which I think it was at 150. It's either at 152 or 145, somewhere in that range. I can't remember exactly. But currently it's 45-34. I mean, that's 79 points. They're more than halfway there. This is, like I said, this is going to be a back and forth game. I feel like just points. Tons and tons of points. Ohio State, Purdue. Purdue ended up winning the game late. So I missed that one again. So I'll probably get this one. I ended up taking San Francisco plus 9.5 as well tonight. So I'll probably get this Iowa, Indiana, and I'll get the San Francisco plus 9.5 just because I'm rolling 2-1 apparently out of late. It just seems like the trend. So if you're listening to this and then you're gonna listen to the gambling advice that I'm giving you, 2 for 1. It just hope for the best. Bet all 6 games and just see what happens. That's the best you can do. Ooh, burping. Excuse me. First game, Creighton, UConn. UConn on a 2-game losing streak right now. looking really rough. The offense doesn't seem to be clicking very well. Creighton, though, on the other hand, is on a 3-game winning streak. And before that, they had a 6-game losing streak. Before that, they had a 6-game winning streak. They've been up and down all year, feeling like a team of runs, kind of. But, in that time frame, 6 wins start of the season, they beat a lot of really good teams. And then when they were losing those 6 in a row, they weren't losing to terrible teams. They weren't, I think there's Nebraska and somebody else, fringe teams that have been okay, but also haven't been very good this year either, that they lost to. But for the most part, they were top 25 teams they were losing to. They just feel like, to me, like they're a team of runs, and I feel like right now they're in that mode to win a couple more games in a row, and then maybe fall off, lose their confidence again. And UConn, I know they're probably going to be favored for this game. They're obviously still number 2 in the country. They're at home. They have been playing good basketball for the most part all season long until really these last 2 games. But I feel like they're just kind of in a rut. I don't feel like they're really prepared to get out of this adversity yet. So that for that reason, I'm probably going to go Creighton money line. I have no doubt in my mind UConn's going to be favored. But I feel like Creighton's just on a better trajectory right now. They're going to win this one, pull off another upset for UConn. Kentucky, Alabama, that should be a good one on Saturday as well. Beating Kentucky's like beating Alabama in football. I know Kentucky's they're not ranked right now, kind of having an up and down year, but they still have been very good. So this would still be a really good win for Alabama. And, just Alabama's cruising right now. Yeah, they've lost a couple here in the last few games, but they're doing fine. They're still playing really good basketball, and I think Nate Oates has got them really going in the right direction. They're a legit contender this year. I imagine they'll be favored. I feel like the line, probably going to be about a 3, maybe a 4.5, somewhere about there. I'll probably take it at 3 because like I said, Kentucky's still been good this year. They've still been very competitive. They just have lost a couple more games. That's really all that it is. So I don't see them, laying down and getting their ass beat. So to me, 3 feels really good. If it's at 3.5, I'll more likely bet it. Anything else, I'll probably flip to Kentucky. But anywhere under 3.5, hit that Alabama hard. Iowa State, TCU, both these teams really riding high. Iowa State's won a few in a row now. TCU, obviously, that big win against Baylor over the weekend. Excuse me. Both these teams are top 20 defensively. That's really going to play a huge factor in this game. We obviously just saw, TCU put up 80 against Baylor, whatever that was, Tuesday night. So it's really, to me, it's going to be, can Iowa State either keep up offensively and score, or are they going to shut down TCU enough to win the game? Like I said, both teams are top 20 defensively. I believe TCU's higher. Let me just double check here. I have it right here. So let's just see. Let's just make this easy on myself. Iowa State. Yeah, so Iowa State's 9th defensively. TCU's 19th in the Ken Palm rankings. Offensively, though, TCU. Oh, shoot. Wrong. Offensively, TCU, they're sitting 67th in the country. Not horrible, but Iowa State is sitting at like 109th. I think that really plays a factor. We've seen this year TCU can score the ball. I expect them to be favored. They are at home. I'll bet anything from 6.5 is probably my max. I'd bet TCU on this. I don't think Iowa State's going to slow them down. And Iowa State can't really score, and they just haven't done that good this year. So, oh no, they have done this good this year. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, Cyclones. They can't score the ball as well as TCU can. I think that's going to play a huge factor. TCU is really, really trending in the right direction right now offensively. Kansas, West Virginia. West Virginia's been on a tear with old Bobby Huggins as of late. They've been playing really, really good basketball. Mountaineers are rolling. But this feels to me kind of like the Mississippi State-Tennessee game. West Virginia, I said they've been playing good, but then again, they have lost their last 2 games. They're kind of in a little bit of a rut right now. And like I said, this just reminds me of Mississippi State, Tennessee, playing really good basketball all year long. Now you're kind of stuck in a rut. What's going to happen? Where are we at? How are things going? And you're playing a team like Kansas, who fresh off a big win, well, not a big, who the fuck did they just sneaked past Texas Tech, who's a really tough team and a good opponent. Good win for Kansas. Got a team like West Virginia kind of in the same area. I just feel like Kansas is just going to get the job done. They're going to blow out they're going to blow out West Virginia. I'll take anything. Probably 8.5 is the max for me on Kansas that I'd lean. Yeah, that probably 8.5. It just makes too much sense to me. 8.5 is probably the max. Anything under that or anything over that gets a little too risky for me. Kansas State, Baylor. Kansas State, fresh off a huge win where they scored fucking over 100 points in regulation. They didn't need overtime to do that, but they were giving up a lot of points. But Baylor's they've been okay offensively, up and down. I mean, they put up 80-something against TCU over the weekend or earlier this week. So I feel like this is going to be another game with lots and lots of points. I just feel like Kansas State's just way too hot right now. Too many guys can score the ball. They're playing really good basketball. I would be really surprised if Kansas State doesn't win this game. I feel like this is going to be favored in Baylor's direction, mostly because Baylor's ranked and at home. So Kansas State money line obviously there because I just feel like Kansas State is going to win this one pretty convincingly. Honestly, I feel like they're in the zone, they're in the groove right now, and they're playing unbelievable basketball. Last game that's tickling my interest over the weekend. 13 Arkansas, 22 Auburn. Auburn has been very underwhelming this year. They haven't really played anyone tough, and they've lost games to teams they really should have beat. So they've just been really up and down, and Arkansas is just on a different level to me this year. And, I don't think Auburn's really prepared for what Arkansas is going to bring to them. Arkansas, in my opinion, is one of the top 10 teams in the country. They've been playing really good basketball all year long. I don't really see them slipping against Auburn, even though it is in Auburn. I don't think that really matters. Should be an easy win for Arkansas. I expect the line to kind of be around probably a 5, but I'd probably bet it up to 7.5, honestly, if I'm feeling pretty provocative. If that's, to me, that's comfortable, that feels safe, that feels right. That's just where I would lean there. Now time for the big fucking college football playoff final preview. National Championship, Monday night, January 9th, TCU versus Georgia, SoFi Stadium. First of all, fuck whatever SoFi Stadium, whoever decided there's no such thing as tailgating at this game, you need to be fired. You need to be let go. You need to move to somewhere in bumfuck Iowa and just figure out your life, because whoever made that decision, you're a scumbag. You're a scumbag. Easy, simple. You're a scumbag. To not allow these hardworking men and women of America and the fan bases not tailgate, that's disgusting. How fucking dare you do that to somebody, dude? Fucking blows my mind. You got a fucking big bag of balls, loser. You whatever. TCU, Georgia. All the marbles on the line. A chance to etch your name into history. And I know that there's just going to be one topic of discussion about this game. It's going to be TCU's offense versus Georgia's defense. It's going to be fucking blasted into your ears for the next 5 fucking days about how good Georgia's defense is. It was fucking same thing happened about Michigan's defense. Michigan's defense did this. Michigan's defense did that all year long. Yada, yada, yada. Georgia, coming into this game, in the regular season, allowed 191 passing yards per game throughout the regular season. Against LSU and Ohio State, 425 per game. LSU threw like 502, I think. Ohio State threw like 340 or something like that. But average that together, that's 425 passing yards per game. TCU averages 263 yards a game passing. They're a very good passing team. They have tons of weapons that can get open and create plays, and playmakers all around. And 5 times this year they threw for over 300 yards. 5 different times this season. Throughout the season, mostly kind of their worser opponents, I would say. When I was looking at it, they weren't guys that just pop off the screen and we were like, oh, that was a really good team. But they did do very well against Michigan last weekend. So that does factor in. I can't remember exactly what they had against Michigan, passing wise, but I mean they did just fine. So I feel like Georgia's defense especially gets exposed in the passing game. I watched Ohio State do it. I watched LSU do it. If TCU can do it, they're gonna fucking destroy them. But that's the thing. TCU really isn't just a passing team. They can run the ball really well. We saw that against Michigan. I mean, they had 263 yards that game. And they're averaging 204 yards per game. They're running the ball really well. They've been running the ball well all season. I believe, 7 times this year they ran for over 200 yards? Wait, no, that's not right. Yeah, I believe they ran for they ran the ball really well this year, all year long. They dominated Michigan, and everyone said the Michigan was going to slow down. They were going to run the ball, and Georgia's been very, very good against the run. They sorry. I mean, the lowest amount of yards that TCU ran for this year was 115. Georgia allowed 115 more yards only twice. To Ohio State in the semifinal, they had like 115. And then first game of the season, Oregon had 140 on them. So nobody's really ran the ball on Georgia, but nobody also really ran the ball on Michigan. To me, this just seems too obvious. I feel like where everyone's stuck on what Georgia did last year, what Georgia's defense did last year. When they've played teams that can move the ball downfield or move the ball on the ground, well, no, they haven't really played anyone that can move the ball on the ground. That's the thing. And TCU can do that. I mean, 204 yards per game. When I think Georgia's allowing, like, I don't even know, it's super low. They're allowing a very low amount of yards this season. Like I said, only twice has anyone ran for more than 115 yards, and that's the lowest amount TCU has ran for all season long. I think to me it's just so clear. I think, TCU is the best offense in the country. That I wholeheartedly believe that. I was saying that last week when before the Michigan game. To me, they're just explosive. They have so many guys that can make plays. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year. Max Duggan is unbelievable. And their defense, yeah, it's not the fucking best defense I've ever seen, but they still make stops. They still make plays. And I just don't think that Georgia's defense is going to be ready for what TCU can do offensively. And it's simple. It's fucking TCU money line. If you don't bet TCU money line, you're going to be sad and depressed when you bet this fucking outrageous spread on Georgia to win. It ain't fucking happening, man. The Frogs are fucking coming. They're going to fucking etch their names in history and go down as one of the best college football teams ever because nobody ever saw them coming. They're going to be the greatest fucking underdog story there ever was. 2 words to remember for your weekend, to remember up until 6:30 Central Time, Monday night, TCU money line. Bet that fucking shit. Bet it. Top 5 NFL games of the weekend here. Obviously, a lot that's riding on, the playoffs here. Patriots, Bills, this one is interesting. Bills are probably going to come out guns blazing. Obviously, playing for Damar Hamlin. Also, still trying to lock up that one spot. Interesting situation there. Don't, see how it plays out. Like I said, the NFL's supposed to be doing possible neutral site AFC championship game. We'll see what happens exactly. But Patriots really need this win. Patriots win. I think they get into the playoffs. They lose. Obviously, they're out the door. I don't think that the Patriots are going to show up. I think Bills are going to be inspired. Playing for Hamlin, playing for that playoff spot. Mostly playing for their teammates. It's not something that happens very often. But every time these things come around, guys seem to play a lot more inspired, and they're tough to beat. So Bills -7. It's too easy. It's written right there on the wall. Take it. Titans, Jags. This one's on Saturday. The Jags are one of the hottest teams in football right now. And for the longest time, the Titans have ran this division. I mean, they've been the dynasty of the AFC South for the past couple of years, almost 5 years, I would say. They've really kind of taken control of the division. And it just kind of feels like it's almost the passing of the guard game here. Jags are just playing really good football. Their offense is really humming. Defense still making mistakes here and there. But without the Titans having a legit quarterback that I feel confident in, I think that the Titans are just... it's over. Like I said, it's fire sale time. And I think that if the Jags come and win, I think they need to realize that it's time for them to call it a day. So Jags -6.5 for me on that one. I feel like the Jags are going to win pretty easily. I don't feel like the what their faces are gonna show up very well. The Titans. Jesus, I fucking forgot it. Ravens, Bengals. Another one, that was affected obviously by the game on Monday. But so I don't really know how that plays into the division. I didn't look to see if the Bengals outright won the division now because they didn't play that game. Let me see. Let's Google that right now. We got a fucking computer right here. Do the Bengals, how do we spell? Do the Bengals now win the AFC North? Let's see. What we got? Looking at news, go to news. Has anything been posted? Bengals playoff scenarios. It was 12 hours ago, 1 day ago, 8 minutes ago. Something about a coin toss, possibly. I don't know. We'll figure it out another day, but something to pay attention to. I don't know if they took the division now. I would think that they did because of the game not being played and, the amount of games they played. But either way, Bengals probably going to come out playing. Ravens haven't been playing very good without Lamar, so I think it's pretty simple. Bengals -7. They should win this one pretty easily. They kind of have a little bit of extra rest as well. Still kind of trying to sneak in for that one spot. Don't really know if they can get it, but we'll kind of see what happens in that situation, especially if they do something like a coin toss. That could get very interesting. Jets, Dolphins, Teddy Bridgewater versus Mike White. Winner goes to the motherfucking playoffs. I've actually been seeing there's reports that Mike McDaniel might actually get fired after this year, which is kind of weird to me. But there's talks that Sean Payton might be the guy in Miami. I don't really, there's been talks that Sean Payton and Tom Brady want to team up, so I don't really know what that would mean. There'd be a whole lot of moving parts. A really interesting situation there. Hope that doesn't happen because the Dolphins would probably win the fucking Super Bowl next year if Tom Brady was their quarterback. He just fucking dump it to Tyreek and Jalen. They just go gone. And it's not a bad roster overall. But this game, anyways, Jets -1 is what I'm riding with. The thing I feel the most confident in this game is the Jets defense. I feel like they're going to step up and make the plays that they need to in order to secure their offense to get the win. So it just screams Jets -1 to me just because of the defense alone. The defense has been playing really good football this year, one of the better units in the league. I don't think that changes, especially when they know what's at stake and what's on the line here. And then the big one, last note for the show here, Lions, Packers, Sunday night. Seahawks lose. It's basically a winner gets in. Seahawks win. Obviously, the Packers are fighting to win and get themselves into the playoff. I think either way, no matter what happens, this is going to be an awesome game. I feel there's going to be a ton of points. Both teams they're fighting for a playoff spot. Both teams have really been grooving and jiving and whatever the other fucking groovy words are for moving around. Both teams have really done really well on offense. Both teams really pushing the ball. So to me, I really like the over at 48.5 for sure. I'm probably taking that. I'm rooting for the Lions to win just because it would be so awesome for the Lions to get in the playoffs and to say fuck you to all the Jared Goff haters because Jared Goff is the future of the Detroit Lions. But that's all I got to say for today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Send to a Lions fan. Let them know I'm rocking with them. Let's hope that they get the job done and send Aaron Rodgers on his way out the door. I don't hate the guy. I just would rather see the Lions go to the playoffs this year, It's a pretty simple fact. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I love you. Sleep good. Have a great weekend. But for now, your boy Titties is out.